How are you doing?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, glad we're there.
So we've got this announcement. I fear that we've gone slightly past the time. So I'm guessing people are already finding
A
out.
couple of people, a couple of people may have seen it because it's scheduled to go live too. So we're only 3 minutes behind. So
Yeah, no worries. So do
should
you
be
want
good.
to announce to the viewers the new announcement from Rails of Sheffield?
Yes. So basically, as a follow-on from the previous the 3D van that we tested several months ago now. When that model came out, everybody was wanting the earlier version, the actual SECR version, and that's what we can bring today. So we it was always in the mind that we would hopefully be able to achieve it. There's various changes as compared to the later version. So various tweaks. There's roof vents and the brake gear is different. But we've managed to do it. Sweat and tears have gone in by various people, but it's all looking good. So yeah, we can announce that today. It has, I've just checked, it has gone on the front page and everything, so people will be able to order that now.
We're just putting the link up now. So we've put a link
Brilliant.
into the chat where people can order up the exclusive 3D printed Southeastern and Chatham Railway wagon. And this is in its Southeastern and Chatham Railway livery version. So as you've alluded to, there's some detail differences, principally to things like roof vents and brake gear. So this will be authentic to that period. It's not just a re-livery, it's fully authentic to the pre-grouping period. But that in turn does also cover the early Southern Railway period too. So anybody who models the Big Four era, certainly for the earlier period, these wagons are equally applicable to that.
Yeah, that's right. And also another difference from the later version is the type of wheels. So again, they're Alan Gibson wheels, but it's a different style. So there's another differential there. So yeah, it's as I say, the first wagon when we first announced it, there was hurdles that we didn't expect. Well, not necessarily hurdles, but there was challenges that obviously cropped up throughout the way. Because the key part is obviously the finish. Everyone's used to a real good finish. So obviously that was always a high importance. We need smooth finishes where it's supposed to be smooth. And I think the traditional 3D items that have been produced, they all have the little layers lines. Yeah. So all the way through, the partners we use were all insistent. Yeah, it'll be fine. You won't see it. It's a different method. But that was always, everyone was biting the lip, waiting to see if it actually happened, and it did. And the initial wagon release was extremely popular.
Yeah.
In fact, people are still after it, really.
I know. I mean, it's because you brought out a second batch, and they pretty much sold out almost immediately.
That's right.
It's been incredibly popular. We've got one up on screen at the moment. Just so that people watching can actually see the type of wagon that we're talking about. So I've actually got the Southern Railway liveried version is sat looking pretty on one of the cameras, and it really is an exquisite model. I hadn't actually realised when I first saw these that they were 3D printed. The quality that they've come out at is really, really good. And they're finished using tempo printing methods from Daypol, isn't it? They're the partners in.
That's
in
right.
This.
Yeah. So the assembly, the paint, and the finishing is all done at Kirk at Daypol. So and again, various challenges they had to face, and it was all a learning curve for everyone involved. And everyone was really, accepting that, it may not go ahead, the difficulties, but everyone worked really well, and everyone's pleased with the final result. And this, hopefully, this new wagon will be just as popular for everybody.
Yeah, and one of the other options as well, which I noticed, is there's a metal door variety. I'm guessing this was an experiment from the South Eastern and Chatham Railway. So there's actually going to be quite a different version, as it were, that
That's
people
right.
will be able to get.
Yeah, it was a bit of a wild card that one of the researchers put through in there, and it is that sort of thing where it's a little bit unique, and a lot of people like that. So we thought, we'll give that a go. Again, as per the first one, it is a limited batch of wagons. Again, now we will consider doing reruns, but we have to judge everything right from the how many get printed by the 3D company, how many wheels we order, and we love to keep the order book open, because a lot of people find that by the time they hear about it, they've sold. But it's just getting the right balance of getting everything lined up. So, if what I would say is, if you're interested in one, get your order in straight away for the first batch. There will be plans to do further batches and etc. But they all will have their own delays because we've got to order the wheels and all that stuff again. So we'll see how we go, but no, we're really pleased with it. I mean, the image I put online of that's just the prime sample, and I only got that image first thing this morning because we were sort of trying to get everything assembled. And, I think the paint was drying overnight, the primer, so that is literally hot off the press.
I mean, it is an exciting project, and in many respects, the 3D printing, when I first saw these, it was actually when you did the launch of the D-Class model at the National Railway Museum. It was, to me, it's a game changer in that you're taking a new technology and using that to produce wagons of prototypes that you wouldn't necessarily ever really see mass produced in an injection molded plastic variety. And I just thought that this was just an amazing application of new technology to the model railway world. I mean, what was it originally that made you look into this new process to be able to deliver more unusual prototypes?
Well, I think that was it. I think the last few years, there's lots of new announcements. A lot of locomotives, and I think the initial thought was, there's going to be a point where people will have all these fantastic locomotives, and they won't have anything for it to pull. And because it is a little bit niche, and as you say, they're not going to necessarily sell in masses, so an injection molded version simply wouldn't work. It was just a little project we thought of, and thought, is there any way we can bring these to market, smaller runs, still at an affordable, an acceptable price, similar to an injection molded van, and that's how it really started. So, we always under the thing, we're not out there we're not going to start reprinting 3D printed mass locomotives or anything like that, but things that we feel will go. So one of the key things we always look at is when the new ranges get announced. There's sort of a thought of, this loco's fantastic, look at this, what can go with it? And is there anything that's missing in the market that we can think, actually, that'd be really good, that'd be a really nice piece to go with it. And we just see where it takes us, really.
Because I guess with not having actual injection molded tools to do this, it's actually quite flexible for you to do different prototypes far more readily. Yeah,
exactly. So obviously the earlier van, as we say, it was the vents on the roof, and the chassis being redesigned to house the alternative brake gear, but. It's not a real. Obviously, for the CAD designer, that's where the most challenging part is.
Yeah,
it's only small changes after that. So whereas injection moulding, you'd have to have new slides, various bits and bobs, and it's a real challenge. This does allow us to make changes to have the variants, because, as you said, early on models, real life locos and wagons, they did have lots of amendments, tweaks added and removed, which is another reason probably why manufacturers choose not to do them, because to get the proper authentic model is very difficult for.
And I guess one of the things that the consumer always says is, why didn't you do X? Why didn't you do Y? And this process, you can now do that. And I guess that the fact that you've been asked from when the BR and the Southern Railway versions came out of these about, when are we going to see an SECR version? You can deliver that. Whereas if you'd have done it as an injection molded model, then unless you catered for that from the outset, there was just no way you would be able to effectively adapt the model to cater for that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
So just a little reminder to people in the chat room, we're speaking to Oliver Davies from Rails of Sheffield, and we're talking about the new announcement of the 3D printed van in the SECR liveries and guises, and this is completely authentic to those periods. We have posted a link in the chat room, which people, if they want to get an order in for these wagons, they can do right now. And hopefully these will be as well selling as the first batch, which were kind of, they just disappeared so quickly. They were that popular. And I suppose it must have been right up until the point they go on sale. There's always that element of worry of like, is this going to work? But you must have been very pleased when you saw how well they were selling.
Yeah, we were absolutely over the moon, and it was exactly that. We were sort of, like, as you say, right up to the announcement, we were like, who knows? And then, of course, at that stage, we'd agreed a batch size as the trial. So we were like, we'll make this many, and then we'll see how the process works, etc. So that one sold out really, really quickly, and obviously there was quite a delay before it arrived while we fine-tuned everything. So at the shows we went to, this, that, and the other, we always had the samples, and everyone was like, "Can I order one?" And it's like, unfortunately, you can't. So it's a real strange one.
Yeah.
And it has continued. The second small batch we did, that was the same. We had some weathered ones, and they went. So yeah, it's proving good so far.
Yeah, we're going to be chatting in a little while with James Hilsden, who has done a lot of work on the research behind these models. But before we go over to getting James on the line, and just in answer to James has commented in the chat saying, "I hope you've got my number." Yes, we do, because we did do a test with James earlier on today. But there are some questions coming in. So I know we've got some pictures that you sent through of the terriers. So people were asking just where things are up to with the terrier project.
Yeah. So obviously, just before Chinese New Year, we put out an update about the terriers and how they were, the first few were ready to leave, and then obviously with everything that's happened, they're still there. So there's the first 4 versions are all boxed up, ready to leave, and we've kept in direct contact with Dapol, with the factory, and things that touch wood, things over there. I see, workers have gone back and everything's sounding like it's getting back to normal. However, there's just going to be the challenge, I guess, of how to get them over here as fast as we can, because the plan was to get always by air, so to get them here as fast as we can. But obviously, with the reduced flights that will be happening now, etc. So there's just a little bit of let's see how it happens. But the plan is that the first one should be as soon as we can actually, as soon as they can leave and get here, they'll be here. And the Bodium that's on the blue, those two you can see. They're on the first batch. So there's the Bodium, there's the LBS CR one, and the two BR versions. The numbers 32665 and the 32661. So that was the initial first consignment that was leaving, and the others are like super soon behind them. So it is just the current situation that is,
I think it's thrown a spanner in the works for all manufacturers, really, and in fact, not just railway modelling. It's something that all across manufacturing and the products just aren't coming through.
I mean, the last fortnight we've continued to have new releases, but I think they were sort of on the sea already before the real issue started. So I think going forward there will start to be less and less new releases for a while. But as I say, I actually spoke to Dapple Friday because I was seeing if I could get any video footage for this of one from China, and he said literally they're all packaged up, ready to go. So it is just a case of they got another conversation with them on Monday to see. They were looking into the fastest way to get them over here.
Brilliant. And also one more question from we've got Otis JB in the chat. Says, can you ask what's the difference between the two 812 chassis in preserved Cali livery and as-built Cali livery? Is the as-built variant in light blue? Is what they're asking.
Yes, it is a different blue. Yeah, the preserved one's different. If I say it, I'll probably get it the wrong way around, but it's definitely, there's a difference in the blues. Yeah, and I believe there's a couple of other, minor detailing pieces that differ. But I would say if you if they want definite clarification, if they drop us an email or give the shop a call, we've got like a chart of differences, so they should quite easily be able to tell him everything that differs.
No worries. And at the moment, the shop's still open, but I'm guessing you're trying to encourage people where they can to go mail order, or how's it working?
Yeah. So we keep having meetings regarding the best course of action. At the moment, with us having, we've got sort of two shops in effect. We've got the Emporium side and the main side. So we sort of try and, it's quite, usually the customers are quite, it's never like a mad rush, people take the time. So, there's things in place. If one was to get a little bit too crowded, we try and, do you want to see this side first kind of thing. And it's just sort of we're monitoring day by day. A lot of the regular customers, I call them, they're sort of stocking up. They're sort of stockpiling the model railway because they'll say, "This is it. I'm now quarantining." So it's a real difficult one, and obviously we'll go on what the government guidelines are, and we'll also take a judgment on staff and customer safety. And there's various things that the shops regularly clean the handles, counters, the phones even. We encourage contactless payment where possible. The staff have got gloves if they wish to wear them. So we are trying to do everything we feel possible.
And I guess at this time as well, there's a lot of people, if they're going to be facing long lockdown, one of the areas which is good to use the time effectively is to do more on your hobby, to do all those layout building projects. So, we chatted briefly before the stream. You said that sales of track have gone up as people are kind of throwing themselves into these projects.
Yeah, that's right. Lots of track and accessories are going out mail order.
And I take it the supplies of things like track, it's still plentiful. There's no supply issues.
That's right. That. Every manufacturer's been really good. In fact, I remember a Pico email that came through late last week, Thursday. which was basically saying that no supply issues. We will continue to supply as soon as for as long as we can. So yeah, I think it's one of those things that everyone realises that it is. Being stuck inside is not great, but if there's something that can entertain you, and railways is one of those hobbies that will do that. So, I think whatever we can supply, we will continue to do so.
I know, of course, on your website you've got the full range of products, and one of the things that I do say to people is that the mail order is still there. It's a great way to get hold of all these things. And actually what I've noticed over the past couple of weeks, especially on your website, you've got a lot of great offers in terms of sale items. So there's a lot of great stuff on there for people to throw themselves into their hobbies during this enforced lockdown.
Yeah, and we've even, I was going to send you the link, but we've even, on the front page, you'll see that we've put some exhibition offers. So even though we can't go to the exhibition, we thought the offers will still be good for people. So there's some offers there. It takes you to the main offer pages, but there's some that will be only around for this sort of weekend while the show's going to be on.
Yeah, because I guess a lot of people going to the big shows like Ali Pally, a lot of people, they save up and that's their big spend. So it's nice to see that that people like yourselves are still giving people that means to pick up the bargains that they would have otherwise got at a physical Ali Pally.
Yeah, and I also think that's it's really good what you're doing, Jenny, because I think people do like to go to shows, pick up bargains, but they also do like to they like to inspire what they want to do. See a good layout. So even your image in the background now, it's going to inspire people to think.
And that's it. It's a bit like a virtual model railway exhibition, and I know that there's we've talked a little bit earlier on in the stream. That it's nice to see how the community has pulled together to help out people who might otherwise feel quite lonely, quite out of the loop, who might have really looked to model railway exhibitions to be able to get out there, meet people, to see layouts. And it's one of the things that we're trying to do here is to provide people with an alternative to that, so they don't feel quite so isolated, that they don't feel left out of the community.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that we could do is, we can look at doing is, obviously we have quite a large mailing list, so if we can have more events like this planned, and we'll send it out to all the customers, so we sort of get their awareness. So there are things going on that will keep people entertained.
Yeah, definitely. And it's nice to see that the YouTube community and the Facebook community are pulling together at a time like this, and it restores your faith in humanity after we've been through this huge social upheaval with all the Brexit stuff. That this is kind of in many ways pulling the community back together, pulling people back together, and getting people to sit down and go, we're doing all right.
That's it.
Which is great.
Right.
But look, it's been great having a chat with you. Great
you
to
too.
Get a bit more detail about the SECR vans. We're going to move on to, we're going to give James a call and have a chat with him. But look, thank you very much for taking the time out.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And, like I say, hopefully we'll do it again soon.
No worries. I think we're in for the long haul with this, so it's something that we're going to be doing. We do a regular Sunday thing now, which we call it the virtual model railway exhibition, and then of course the Jenny Monday Club, which is the regular Monday live stream that we do, will be going on as normal as well. But look, it's been absolutely brilliant chatting to you. You take care of yourself, and
you too.
We'll speak to you again soon.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.